Hi everyone, Pastor Kelsey here. Welcome back to Winter Quarter. We continue to pray that you and your loved ones are healthy and well, and that you were able to celebrate Christmas even if it was in a different way this year. And since everyone is still just kind of getting settled back in after break, we will officially launch Chapel next week on January 12th. But today, we wanted to pause to share with you a little bit more about what to expect from University Ministries this quarter and to introduce you to our brand new Minister of Worship and Community Life, Alex Booker. And so as we continue through these challenges of COVID-19, students, I hope that you know that University Ministries is here to support you in whatever you are going through. We are with you, we are for you. And there are all kinds of ways for you to get plugged in with community, ways to serve, ways to grow in your faith. And so we really hope that you find your place this quarter. So what kinds of things can you expect from University Ministries? Glad you asked. You're in the right place. Starting next week in week 2, there are going to be all kinds of small groups, community groups on a variety of different topics. Building relationships, the Gospel of John, living an embodied faith, groups for students in residence halls, groups for students who are commuter students, just to name a few. So you're going to want to check out all the different options to build community and grow in faith in that way. If you're a residential student specifically, you might want to check out the SNC hosted event on mental health and faith coming up in a few weeks. Or if you're a commuter student, I bet you know about Sharpen and the monthly grab-and-go lunches and grab-and-go grocery bags that are available. You might be itching to serve and to connect beyond the SPU bubble. And so if that's you, be looking for opportunities to tutor high school students or work with refugees through our urban involvement ministry. Or if that more regular commitment is maybe not for you, we're excited that our one-day Latreia engagement days are back this winter quarter. So be watching for more information about that. We'll have our In Context conversations on systemic racism and injustice picking back up in week 4. Our weekly Instagram Live worship services for group. And right here in Chapel, we'll be exploring the theme of harm, healing, and hope. Reflecting on how these 3 words play out in our lives, the scriptures that shape our understanding, and ultimately what it means to embody the love, grace, and justice of God in these spaces. So we're going to have some really great guest speakers this quarter, and so we hope you'll join us in this space. Lastly, you're going to for sure want to be on the lookout for something really special from University Ministries on February 10th. We're going to keep the details a secret for now, but just know you're not going to want to miss out. And so students, you don't have class on that day, so just save the date, February 10th, some good fun from University Ministries. And in all of this, friends, if you are wanting to get connected and stay connected, a really important page for you to check out is our UMin online site. I think we're going to include the link here. So in addition to our weekly e-news, our Instagram, our Engage page, this UMin online site is critical because it's where you can sign up for community groups. It's where you can get links for worship services. It's where you can stay up to date on the newest information about UI or Latreia and so much more, right? Okay, so make sure you bookmark this page, come back to it frequently. It's going to be a good resource for you. And in all of this, friends, I'm just reminded of the call to persevere in faith from Hebrews 10. You know, we're coming to that midpoint of the year, which is always challenging for all the ordinary reasons, right? The ways that the weather impacts our seasonal affective disorder for many of us, the ongoing demands of your classes and the quarter system, the conflicts with friends or roommates that are normal but tend to creep in when the novelty of the fall has worn off. And we add on to this, right, the collective weariness and grief and trauma of COVID-19, of ongoing racial injustice, of that election cycle that just never seems to quit. And so we have every reason to be exhausted. We have every reason to simply melt onto our couches under a pile of weighted blankets with our hot tea, binging TV shows until our eyes glaze over. And perhaps there is a place for that from time to time, but I don't think that's the sum of all that we're called to in life. And so, from this place, I want to invite us to hear this call to persevere in life and faith from Hebrews 10, as it's found in the New Living Translation. So, starting in verse 19, it says, "And so, dear family in Christ, we can boldly enter heaven's most holy place because of the blood of Jesus." This is good news, right? This is the foundation of our faith. And then from that place, starting in verse 23, "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope that we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. And let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." So friends, whatever your niche is, wherever you find that you connect with God and connect with community, our prayer in UMin this winter quarter is that we would all hold on tightly to the hope that we find in Jesus. And then rooted from this place, knowing that we serve a faithful and loving God, that we would find creative ways to encourage, to support, and challenge one another as a community of faith. Maybe we can just seek to outdo one another in love, right? How can we outdo one another in caring for each other? Or maybe we want to think about ways that we're going to remain committed to connecting with one another, even if the format involves a screen. And we want to consider how we can be diligent in seeking to embody peace, to embody shalom, wholeness, for the world, right? For the glory of God and the good of our neighbor. These are things we want to be committed to. And so I would challenge you, I would invite you today to write down 1 or 2 ways that you hope to grow in faith this quarter. Maybe 1 or 2 ways that you plan to stay connected to community this quarter. Make a plan. Don't let this winter quarter pass you by. And with this text as our anchor, as our launch point, let's do this winter quarter. Okay, SPU? We've got this. Amen. And so now I have the pleasure of introducing you all to our newest campus pastor, our newest team member in University Ministries, our Minister of Worship and Community Life, Alex Booker. We are thrilled to bring Alex onto our team, and we can't wait for you all to get to know him more. And so without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to our student worship coordinators, Grace and Cody, and they're going to ask Alex a few questions today.
Hi, SPU. Welcome back to Winter Quarter. My name is Cody. I am one of the worship ministry coordinators this year. And this morning we have the pleasure of interviewing our new Minister of Worship and Community Life, Alex Booker. So, hi, Alex. If you want to start with just introducing yourself, where you're from, and like one of the things is how have you been during quarantine?
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Booker. I am born and raised in Seattle, one of the few. I know there are a few other of us on the team that are from Seattle as well. Born in or raised in the southernmost tip of Seattle and the northernmost tip of Renton area called Skyway. Seattle's all I know. And my quarantine team has been my daughter. She's just turned 12 actually on this past Saturday, which is crazy. My wife, and I would say, I guess my parents, I live about 10 minutes away. So spent a lot of time with them, just getting out of the house as much as possible, as we all have been. Well, not as much as possible in an irresponsible way, but seeing my mother, my father, and just taking long walks. So, and Netflix has been my main partner for sure in the quarantine process. So
Yeah, I've definitely caught up a lot of shows and stuff over this quarantine too. So, yeah. So kind of going off of that, to get to have our community SPU know you a little bit better. I want to ask you what are 2 or 3 things that you're passionate about, and why you're passionate about them.
gotcha. I love basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan and grew up playing basketball. So I'm a big LeBron fan for sure. Wherever he goes, I am now a fan of that team. I've been incredibly heartbroken ever since my Sonics left and became the godforsaken Thunder. But hopefully we will come back one day. So I'm also just a pretty big Seattle sports fan in general. Excluding the Huskies, I'm a Cougar. So go Cougs. So those are one of the things I'm passionate about. And I am passionate about just seeing God in new ways, seeing the way that God works in different people and different organizations and different ways that we might not see explicitly as God and specifically as Christ. But I just like to point out those ways in how God works, in and through us to administer justice and administer righteousness in however God sees fit. So and I am a fan of learning. I love academia. I love reading about new things and new peoples, and so those are some of the things I'm passionate about. So
Nice, nice. How would or Alex, how would a close friend of you describe you, Alex, in 2 or 3 words?
energetic would be one, fun, and just laughing. I take what I do seriously, but I have to have fun in the things that I do if I'm going to do it for a long time. Because if I don't, then it's not going to be very fruitful for me or life giving. So I feel like I have a good amount of energy. I know my friends have said that about me before. I don't drink a ton of coffee. Being in quarantine, I've actually drinking a lot more coffee than what I used to. Just kind of being at home all the time made me that way. But I love life, and I like to make life as enjoyable as possible because we all know that sometimes and very oftentimes life cannot be enjoyable. So I try to smile through the pain and see the sunshine through the rain. So
Nice. I as we've kind of all experienced that during quarantine, a lot of us have picked up new hobbies or new things that we've been filling up our time with this past few months. So I was wondering, what are some things that you are listening to, like music wise or podcast wise, like reading or like watching these days?
gotcha. One podcast that I've been listening to pretty religiously is Reclaiming My Theology podcast, which is a podcast led by a few actual folks or one person named Brandy Miller. I believe she's from the Pacific Northwest, but she does a good job of kind of reclaiming or talking about the ways in which she reclaims her theology from white supremacy and just whiteness in general. So I've really enjoyed that one for sure. Just decentering whiteness in a lot of our theology has been really good. I listen to the Daily pretty much every morning, so I get my news briefing from that for sure. Um, what else am I watching these days? I like sometimes really bad TV. Kind of a guilty pleasure of mine is really bad reality TV shows. But I do watch some good shows. Watch This Is Us. I find that to be pretty good. One show that I've been binge watching is a show called A Different World. Came out in the late 80s, early 90s. It's a spinoff from The Cosby Show. Their eldest daughter went to college and kind of centered around just the college life at historically Black colleges. So I've been binge watching that a lot. So, and what am I reading? I'm actually trying to read a few books during this winter break, but one of them I want to start with is The Soul of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. I definitely want to read that one. I, I feel like I want to reread Willie Jennings' Christian Imagination as well. But I also want to just kind of let my brain rest for the next couple of weeks before class starts up again. But I think those will be the for sure two books I'll read over break. So
Nice. I know you mentioned before when you were talking about your passions. One of the things that came up was coffee, and I was wondering if you have a go-to coffee spot here on or in Seattle, and like if you do have a spot that you go to often, like what is your go-to coffee order?
gotcha. I don't have like a real coffee like passion. I would say definitely not our coffee passion. I'm pretty plain Jane as they say. So I would probably I go to Starbucks and get an americano with a little bit of white mocha in it. And I don't have a favorite coffee spot per se. Um, but yeah, any kind of just regular plain coffee is what I would order. So
Nice. And just to close up our time, thank you again. What is something that you're most excited to, what are you most excited about as you join the SPU community and university ministries?
yeah, I'm first of all, I'm just very thankful and grateful for the opportunity. But I'm most excited to work with the students, work with you all, and just see how I can help. And like I've been saying, to everybody getting where I fit in and plug in some holes where I can. I'm excited to learn a whole lot from you all and learn from Lisa and from Kelsey and just all the folks who've been in ministry for a while and in academia for a while. So I'm really excited for the entire process and to see how I can help make it better than it already is, and just yeah, kind of use my gifts as best as I can, and kind of go from there. So I'm truly excited for the whole process.
Nice. Is there any last minute thing off the top of your head that you would want our SPU community to know about you? Like any fun
Um,
facts?
Fun facts. Um, the top of my head, no, I don't have too many fun facts. So, yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm excited to be around. I know it's going to be obviously different because I won't be meeting you guys in person all the way, but obviously we'll be doing rehearsals and performing and everything. But yeah, I'm excited for the challenge. Excited to work with you all, and I'm going to learn as much from you as you will learn from me. So,
Awesome. As I'm really excited to have you have you help our SPU community in leading worship for us this year, and I'm sure that many of our staff and students are also really excited to have you help lead them in worship this year. So I just want to say we just want to say thank you, and we want to say thank you to Alex for taking some time out of his day to interview with us today, and we are looking forward to what winter quarter has for us this year. Thank you.
yeah,
Have a
thanks.
great week.
See you guys.